Welcome to The Explainer. You know, if you've ever set foot in a Tai Chi class, there's one question that almost everyone runs into, but very few people get a really satisfying answer for. Today, we are going to dive right into it, using the insights of an experienced practitioner who calls himself Gandalf.
So here's the big one, the question that really trips up so many students. Should you be consciously, deliberately matching your breath to your movements? It sounds so simple, right? But it's really not. In fact, the author of our source material admits that this was something they struggled with for a very long time. And getting it right? Well, it can completely transform your practice.
And look, if you've ever gotten up the nerve to ask your instructor about this, I'm willing to bet you heard this exact phrase. Just breathe naturally. It's pretty much the standard advice for beginners. And to be honest, it's given for a very, very good reason.
And honestly, it's really sensible advice. I mean, think about it. When you're first starting out, your brain is it's on fire, right? You're trying to remember where to put your feet, what your hands are doing, the whole sequence. Trying to layer on coordinated breathing at that point, it's just a recipe for total overload. So this breathe naturally approach keeps things simple. It makes the art accessible to everyone, especially older folks or anyone just looking for the wellness benefits.
But here's the catch, and it's a big one. Once you get past that beginner stage, once the form is kind of baked into your muscle memory, you might start to feel like something's just a little off. This is exactly what our practitioner noticed in their own practice. Their breathing started to feel choppy, almost labored, especially during those tricky transitions between postures. Breathing naturally just wasn't cutting it anymore.
And that feeling is what led our practitioner to a huge breakthrough. They started digging, and in a classic text by Grandmaster Zhang Zeping, they found it. The answer. It's this core idea. True Tai Chi isn't just movement. It combines every single movement with your breath. It's not an optional extra. It's absolutely fundamental. Okay, so what this gives us is a really simple, practical, two-stage path. And this is probably the most important thing to take away from this explainer. Stage 1. If you are new to the form, just breathe naturally. Seriously, forget about the breath for now. Just master the movements. But Stage 2, the moment that form becomes second nature, when you can do it without thinking, that's your cue. That is when you start coordinating your breath. And let me tell you, the difference this makes, it's not subtle. It's real. Once our authors started syncing their breath with their movements, everything changed. For the very first time, they actually felt that sensation of qi, that inner energy flowing through them. The form suddenly became way more physically demanding. They were actually sweating. This is the moment Tai Chi stops being just a set of movements and becomes what it's truly meant to be, moving Qigong. Okay, so you're probably asking, how? How do I actually do it? Well, the secret is this beautifully simple principle. The entire rhythm of Tai Chi, it all boils down to one opening and one closing. That's it. And that rhythm maps directly to your breath. One complete open and close cycle equals one complete exhale and inhale cycle. So let's get super practical. Here are the rules of the road. When you're doing a closing action, think about gathering energy, receiving a force, or neutralizing something. That's when you inhale. And when you're doing an opening action, striking, advancing, releasing that energy, that's when you exhale. The simplest way to think about it, inhale to gather, exhale to issue. And remember, it's not just about the timing of the breath, it's also about the quality. The classic texts have this beautiful description. Your breath should be deep, long, thin, slow, and even. Now, thin, what does that mean? Think of it like a single, fine, silent thread of silk. It's not a big huff and puff. The whole thing should be quiet, controlled, and feel totally effortless. And all of this deep integration of precise movement and powerful, controlled breathing, it brings us to a really provocative question, a question that our source brings up and one that gets debated like crazy online. If a person really masters this, can Tai Chi actually be used for fighting? Now that is a whole other can of worms and maybe a topic for another day. But it's a fascinating thought to leave you with.